So, Quinn Hatton, welcome to the Share Chair.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. It was an honor to be asked. Such a prestigious honor. And I think that the whole idea around podcasts and stuff like that is very beneficial to wherever you are. It's I listen to them car rides. I mean, I love TED Talks and it's kind of a thing. Actually, to be completely honest, I kind of started listening to TED Talks. It was half you, half my mother. Actually, my mom is like, she listens to podcasts when she goes to bed, and I've always kind of been interested in kind of controversial topics, and when I was in your class last year, we did a lot of TED Talks, and it got me kind of interested in education, especially for me being a dyslexic. It's kind of been in my own interest to kind of dive down deep and see what's the best for me and what is out there to kind of accommodate me. And it's not that I've not had a good time at Spring Lake. I've had a great time at Spring Lake, and I love Spring Lake, and a lot of people have done so much for me, and I don't discredit that. It's just that I'm always looking for new things to kind of better myself, and I think that listening to those TED Talks and listening to the professionals and thinking about it is really interesting.
So in some kind of idealistic Quinn world, what's the value system? I mean, what are the priorities that really should be looked at first?
Obviously, intelligence is important, and I don't think that like getting a college degree is a bad thing. I think it's a great thing, but people need to stop kind of being ultra competitive and really greedy. I think it's kind of centered around greed. How more education you have, statistically, you make the most money. And when you really think about it, if you think of the most successful people out there, they didn't do it alone. They had collaborations with so many different people. It's there's always many people behind something really, really brilliant.
Talk about that so that people understand what that collaboration was.
Sure. Let's see. At the start of my junior year, Kelvin Baker, a good friend of mine that now goes to Interlochen Arts Academy, and if he ever listens to this, hello. We miss you here. And he got a few friends together and started this film club, and it kind of just grew into this basically us just having a good time, and then it kind of snowballed into some work for us, and me, Sid, and Calvin got some paid deals, and from there it worked so organically, and the basis of it was really just making something that we would laugh at, because me, Sid, and Calvin make each other laugh all the time, and we were like, what would be funny, and we just write it up on the board and make it.
And early in the interview about dyslexia.
Yeah. I'll start back in say the best when I really started to notice it was second grade, and I kind of was just falling behind in reading, and I was never a kid to not do my work, and I was very driven and was a really good student in every other area except for reading, and this is no shots at the school system, but the school system saw my other grades and were very convinced that only just putting me in like a host environment where I just needed extra help. I don't know what it was, or they didn't know what it was. It's just it'll come with time. Is basically what they were saying to me, was that we don't know why he's not getting it like his classmates are. You're obviously way above average in every other place. You're just having some difficulty with reading. So they would take me out of recess, and they would take me out of my gym classes to put me in a room and say, you'll do extra reading. And it made me furious as a young kid, not having any recess and not having just basic interactions with other kids, and being forced to do something that was very, very difficult. Kind of ruined the experience. And then my mom and my dad just kind of said, we'll do our part and see what's going on here. And I kind of rode by the edge of my seat and on my wit until about 7th and 8th grade where I hit this wall where I just could not progress, and I couldn't, we just didn't know why, and eventually, it was time, and the argument of it'll come with time, it was, kind of done. And they put me through some testing in Grand Rapids, and I was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADD. Honestly, it wasn't surprising, but more or less it was a relief to me to know that I wasn't, just, I don't know, not getting it for reasons. I was trying, like, really, really hard to do these things, and I don't know, it was more a relief than anything to see that. And then from there, kind of had this whole not social, but emotional reconstruction of understanding, and kind of having to cope with it was really hard for a while. And then we decided to do tutoring. I did tutoring after school 4 days a week for an hour and a half, and I was basically being taught how to read as a dyslexic, and kind of pick out where my strengths were when I had to read, what was I good at, and what did I need work on. And this tutor, name is Nancy Meekoff, lives in the area, and she helped me kind of, I don't know, just relearn how to read in my own unique way. And ever since then, I've done pretty well. Yeah, is it slow and is it tedious? Oh yeah, it is. It's I definitely have to work a little bit harder than the average person to get some of the simplest things done. Is it frustrating? Yeah, but I've already kind of gotten over it and kind of accepted it, and kind of tried to spin it in a positive way to say, this is giving me a work ethic like no other, and it's really kind of been a defining moment for me. It shaped who I am, and I'm glad I'm dyslexic. I'm not bitter about it. It's just the way it is, and you got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and just kind of go with it.
What are the tasks that are harder for a dyslexic person than for not dyslexic?
It's just predominantly reading. It's and as you go into college and upper levels of high school, you read a lot. And I'm taking AP US history right now, and oh my goodness, it's all been a big juggling game my entire high school career, and it's been really tough. But I don't know. I have always had this drive to kind of do the best I can. When I look at a page, and sometimes it's really bad, and sometimes it's not. It actually depends somewhat. I do better with some fonts better than others, and some just really weird technicalities like the size of the letters. It's just when I'm reading through a page and I start to pick up the pace here, and I start to hit like a reading stride. Like the letters will switch around, and when I'm doing math, it'll be the same way. If I'm looking at a long equation, I'll switch the letters and numbers around. And
Your dyslexia and chess
yes,
shaped you or formed you.
Yeah.
So how does chess form you and shape you?
I started playing chess when I was in 2nd grade, just out of curiosity. I rolled into the Jeffers Library, and a man named Joe Singerling, who no longer works here. I love that guy. He lives in Muskegon, does a lot of charitable stuff now, but he taught me how to play the game long ago, and ever since then I've been playing at a competitive level. And I think now that I'm kind of old enough to realize the community and realize the whole picture here, chess is something that is so beneficial to anybody who wants to learn or is a long-time player. It gives people a sense of community, and it teaches core values. Core values in the way that learning from mistakes is one of the biggest things in life that needs to be learned at a young age. And to be completely honest, I lost 100+ games before I won once. Before I won one game, and it teaches you to be very disciplined.
If you had any piece of general advice for high schoolers, chess players, someone who's going through something like dyslexia, or
Yep.
that sets them apart and they struggle through, what would it be?
Man, I would say that learning from your mistakes and having the courage or finding the courage to get back up and keep going is so important. And know that failure is just a part of life, and what you do with your failures, learning from them, is what will essentially make you a better person. High school is tough, and give yourself some slack sometimes. It's a tough environment sometimes,
Awesome.
but
Thanks, Quinn
Thanks,
Hatton.
Quinn.
Thanks for being on the shared chair, man.
yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Share Chair. Stay tuned next week for a new one. Also, check us out on Facebook and Twitter for regular updates at The Share Chair. And if you're interested in having a piece of your writing or an experience shared on the podcast, contact Elise McGannon at 203-505 at springlakestudents.org.